Okay, Driveway Dolls. Just saw it just now. Um, and first thing off the bat, I liked it. Liked it a lot. It's a funny movie. It's a comedy. It's a comedy. I looked it up on Google real quick, right? Quick Google search to see what it said because I wasn't sure. You get a little overview of what I'm about to see, and it mentioned dramedy thriller. And this film, like, I don't know, maybe if thriller isn't what I'm thinking in my head. When I see thriller, when I saw it said that, I'm thinking that this film is, what do you call, that it's like it's like serious. It's gonna be on a serious note. It's not gonna be some laffy daffy type movie. There's gonna be some seriousness to it. But no. This film is silly. This film is comedic. This film is hilarious. It's got like funny moments in it. It's not all a serious film, right? It's it's comedic. I think the word black comedy came to mind in the very first like opening shots with Pedro Pascal's character, because like even the way he's killed, because he gets murdered, right? He has his briefcase and he runs through the alley, and the music sounds kind of comedic. The camera shots, like everything about it, right, is meant to be. It's not serious. It has a lighthearted nature, right? And so the idea, the name black comedy came to my head, because I think that, if I'm not mistaken, black comedies, they're sort of like in this genre of film, right, where they're what would be the word? They're like raunchy comedies, right? They're comedies with dark subject matter entwined, or they deal with dark subject matter. They're vulgarity. And this movie is rated R, and the sex scenes, like we get a sex scene, I think right after the Pedro Pascal part or something. We get one pretty early on. We get like what? Like 3 sex scenes, 3, 4. And we also get these trippy scenes in the movie, which I liked. and I could see maybe somebody like when people do reviews of this, maybe a gripe that we had with this film will be when you have the trippy scenes. They're used kind of like a transitioning scenes, if that makes sense. Like they're scenes to transition, or like as filler perhaps, and for me they kind of felt that way. I did enjoy them, but I can see where maybe it can be thought of as like lazy writing, or like we don't know what to do in this scene, or how can we move along to the next, so let's just do a trippy scene here, and that will kind of feed more into it, right? The trippy scenes, I think it's Miley Cyrus is in them. I'm pretty sure it's Miley Cyrus. I'm pretty positive, because we even get like this scene of like this young man that and you can see she's on top of him, right? Like they're maybe having sex. But then when we learn after the fact, because there's a senator from Florida, right? He's got a plaster mold of the penis made, like, and what do you call, we find out in that trippy scene that I guess the girl she experienced, the girl with the southern accent, the Texan girl, we'll call her that. I guess the Texan girl experienced this in the when she was using it, right? That what's it called? The senator, when he was young, he had this done, and we even see it when she's on top of him, and she's like, oh, big boy, whatever, blah, and there's like, she's moving her hands, and there's like some white like splatter, so like splatter noises, and then so that makes sense, like, oh, okay, she's making the mold. It's kind of telling the story of how it came to be, the mold of his penis, and like, even so, yeah, and that's what's in the briefcase, right, that Pedro Pascal had, that he gets killed for, and they take it from him, like. In this movie, what do you call, fucking, what was I thinking of in my head? Like, it's a comedy, you know what I mean? Like, that was the fucking, and then, what they have, there's like 2 items. There's the briefcase, and then there's this bucket that has Pedro Pascal's head, his character's head inside it, because he only has to get murdered, he also gets his head decapitated, and they put it in the car that's meant to go to Tallahassee, I guess for blackmail or something like that. I don't remember they explain in the beginning, because like the 2 girls, they come in, it's called Curly's ride or something, I forgot what it's called. They explain in the film too that if you, I guess you need to go somewhere, right? We have a package in the car, it needs to be delivered here. If you're already going there, you can drive the car and drop it off. And because her friend tells her that, hey, when we have a car for now, but when we get to Tallahassee, we won't have a car anymore. Like, we won't have a car anymore once we get to Tallahassee. We only have the car now because we're delivering this item that's in the car or whatever, or delivering the car itself. But if we don't, how do you call, once we get to Tallahassee, we're not going to have a car, that? We're going to be carless. And I guess she does that, because we're, like, in Philadelphia. We're in Philadelphia, and her friend, she's, like, sad, right? She says, we know that she had a relationship that ended 3 years ago. She haven't had a relationship since, right? And that what was I thinking of in my head? Fucking, I guess they're roommates. Yeah, I think that's what the deal is. They're roommates. And she tells her that, I just feel unhappy. I'm gonna go stay or go see my aunt, whatever, Aunt Karen or something, down in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm gonna go down there to see her, and I guess maybe to clear her mind, to kind of shake things up a bit, perhaps. And her friend, because her friend's dating someone. Well, I guess she was dating someone, but we do see in the, like, close to the open, like, the first sex scene is her friend, like, having sex with this other woman. And at first I was thinking, oh, maybe they're a couple. And but then we learned after the fact, when she goes to, like, a lesbian bar, that her girlfriend's there, and she's calling, oh, that slut, fuck her. And so she's not faithful, right? And she even turns to her friend and she says, like, oh, like, hi, so and so. And the Indian girl, she looks at her and she's like, yeah, you think she's supposed to be with you, I think, or something like that. But so yeah, the Texan girl, I guess she cheats, right? And she gets kicked out. No, actually, no, they're not roommates. I remember now. They're just friends. Because the oh my God, what was I thinking of? She tells her, hey, you got to come back to my house. Come back to Susie's house. I think her name was Susie, to come grab my things, because she just kicked me out of the house. And we get this scene where she's got a dildo mounted to the wall, and she's unscrewing it. And she's like, no, I just came to get my things. Like, I don't want that. That was a gift, and I want you to have it. And, they have moments like that, comedic moments like that. There's a dog. It's, I guess this is a Chihuahua. There's a little dog in the house. And, I forgot what the dog's name was. The dog even has, like, a first and a last name, I guess, or two names. Like, the dog's got a long name. And she even tells her, like, well, can you take the dog too? Like, I didn't even want the dog, honestly. And you get upset. But she tells her, I don't have a house. So the dog's not going to have a house. You have to take my dog. You have to keep my dog because I don't have a house. And then the dog's not going to have a house. So I can't take the dog either. Just my things. That's it. Thank you. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. I like these two characters. I mean, we get to see them at Curly's. Because they were the ones meant to take the car. The two gentlemen in the beginning. From Curly. It was the two gentlemen, one shorter than the other. They're kind of like a Buster. Oh, what's not a Buster? Fucking, I'm thinking of like the Dumber and Dumber kind of thing. It's like the two henchmen, and they're kind of clumsy, right? They're not exactly the most efficient henchmen, but it's two of them, right? It's two of them, and fucking how do you call the two henchmen? They bicker back and forth. One of them is he got kind of resorts to violence right away, and the one guy, he like lampoons him for this. He says, we would have had an easier time doing whatever so and so if you just didn't come so aggressive. Like when we go to Susie's house, when they go to Susie's house to get information about the Texan girl, right, or about both of them, but only the Texan girl, because again, they were a couple, right, previously. He comes in all aggressive and hard, and so obviously, she reacts to that, the same energy, and starts beating him up, starts hitting him. She's got him like he takes out this like baton stick thing, and he, retracts it, and she puts it around his neck, and she's, kind of like choking him out. And the other gentleman, the smaller gentleman, he's telling him, he's just talking calmly to her. Hey, yeah, we had like two friends, like your friend or whatever. They had something that belongs to us, and we're just trying to get it back, So you help us, like give us some information? It's that classic trope, right, where they gotta look and probe around and try to get the scoop and stuff like that, huh? What else I was thinking? And something like in the second scene, because we get like two scenes, right, of this where they go to this it's this lesbian sports group's house or something, and these and we know they're there previously because the previous few scenes that we get, fucking I don't even remember their names right now. The Texan and the Indian girl, right? The Texan girl drags her. I think she said she was in the sports league or something, right? Like she used to play. Like she knew about the sports league of whatever sport it was, and how all the girls are lesbians. And she was telling her about like, oh, her time when she used to do it. And she's like, oh, we go to this restaurant, we go with this pizza place, and if they're there, then things are gonna happen. And I think because she wants to get her friend laid too. That's also a theme in it. She wants to get her friend laid, and so they go to that pizza place. They see the sports team, and then they go back with them to their house. Like, cause they go back because like some are part in the house. I guess everyone lives in the same house, and they're having this makeout session. Like in the basement, everybody's making out. And then we have the camera panned around, right? We see everybody. Then they pan to, like, I guess the lady, she's the coach, the head of the team. And you can see that she's a little older, right, than the others. And she gets up, she whistles. It's like, all right, everybody move to the right, right? Or like all the kissers move to the right or something. And so they have to rotate around, right? Everybody gets a turn with everyone, I guess. And we come to, what do you call? Fucking... the two friends, right? The Indian girl and the Texan girl meet up, right? It's they have to kiss, right? And she's looking around like, no, we can't do this, right? Because we're friends. And that's what we established early in the film, right? That they're friends. They're both gay, but they're not lovers or past or anything like that. They're just friends. And but they do end up kissing. And I'm guessing maybe that, because they fall in love towards the end of the film, and they get married. And when they talk to Aunt Karen, and she whispers to her, like, watch what you say. She's very religious, be mindful of that. So when we get in the car with her, and it's like a shotgun, right? It's a car in the front. That's another thing in this film. The year that it takes place in, it doesn't give us an exact year, but if I had to guess, I would say it's probably, oh my gosh, maybe the 90s, I guess? The 1990s? I wouldn't say no later. It's not 70s, right? I don't get the 70s vibe. I'm gonna guess maybe late 80s, 90s, around there. If you were born in this era, maybe you watch this film and it looks familiar to you, or you're just as lost as I was. But there's no there's no smartphones, right? When we get a scene where she's plotting the trip with the map, it's a physical paper map, right? The cars are old. The phones are old, like they're landline phones, right? That's something that I didn't realize in the initial beginning of the film, but I picked up like later. I picked up later in the film that it was we're in a later time period. We're not in the modern day. We're in a later time. So that I think that was cool to me. I like that little fact with the film there. Again, where was I? Fuck these tangents. Let's pick off to what things I liked. I like the trippy scenes. We get like maybe 3 or 4. I don't remember how many. Again, I could see where they can be. Maybe they were sort of used as filler. There were times where they came on and it's like, oh, another one. That I'm curious to see what other people who review this film have to say about that. I guess the writers. I mean, the story is pretty straightforward. I think, right? They're supposed to deliver it like actually. Like pretty quick too. I think it's just one day to drive from Philadelphia to Tallahassee to deliver the car, and obviously we go over that. We established that right when they get the motel. It's established like, oh, we're gonna go over the that allotted time, and that's when we get the 2 henchmen, and the henchmen even have a boss of their own, and he has like this kind of calm way of speaking. And there's even a scene, this is when they take him to like he takes a track, right? He says, drive me to Tallahassee, the boss, right? The henchman. And he's in the car and and it's kind of funny because he says, wake me up when we get there. And I guess maybe he was really in a deep sleep, because we see the driver, like, he actually has the passenger door open, and he's like shaking his leg, like, sir, where to? You know, we were riding in Tallahassee. Okay, we're within the city, but like, where to in Tallahassee? Exactly, right? And fucking and he tells us the track, and we find out that the track, it's a dog's racing track, and they give us these nice shots of these dogs running, the race dogs. I don't know what type of breed it is, but it's it's got the muzzle on the dog, and the mouth is wide open with like these gnarly teeth. Just that pure muscle running on the track. The dog. This is where the short guy and the boss. This is where they get killed. They get killed by the bigger henchman guy, and I like that. So he's talking all calmly to them, explaining them the story about the Senator Penis, like, oh, imagine what it would do if the word got out. Remember, listing on eBay, it's the senator's dick from this state, slightly used. Just imagine what it would do to his wife, his kids, his family, his career. Right? She's like explaining to them, this is why you need to tell us like where it is. This is why we need to collect them so they doesn't get out. So I guess actually they're on the senator's side, the henchmen guys, right? They're what do you call let me get some water here real quick. They're what do you call? Maybe they're like hired by him or something, or maybe they are villains and they're just like they want to sabotage him. So that's why they say, like, we need these things to like sabotage. It doesn't seem like a big deal. Like, how can you prove it to me? But whatever, right? That you don't question this with this film's logic, I guess. The comedy film. What was I thinking of? But yeah, he turns over to the henchman. He's like, "Can you guys shut up?" Right? He says that loud, and we pan over. The camera pans over directly to them, and it's just they're arguing, and you can tell with the argument. So I guess that scene when they're sleepy, because he even tells them, well, this is when they leave the juke joint, because the lesbian team told them, hey, go to that juke joint. This is when they're leaving, that they get a call from the boss where I explain the situation, and he's like, hey, I know where they are, just meet me there, because I'm going there right now. You need to meet me there so we can handle this situation. Because this is like the second or third time maybe that they've gotten close to them and then they fail to get them, right? Incompetent henchman type trope. And when they're arguing, he's talking about like, oh, I just wanted to show you like how to be a real man. I only did that so you can try to stay awake. You say you didn't like it. Oh, that was the alcohol talking, or is the Irish cream? That was why you did. Let me do that to you. And so I guess they had some sort of gay moment together, but then they hate each other, right? And I guess that was the last straw that broke the camel's back for him. So he shoots that one guy, and the boss is like, hey, what are you doing? He shoots him, and then he's going to put the gun in the boss's hand until he realizes, wait, the two girls are tied up there. And he looks up at him, right? He looks up like, oh shit, the two girls are tied up there. And he aims like he's about to kill them, right? But he goes click, click, click. And someone in the audience even said like, oh, well, they're not going to get shot because he's already used like 3 bullets. He's got a revolver or something, and he's already used quite a few bullets. Like, he's used 3 on that guy. He used more than 1 on the boss. And so sure enough, right, he clicks, click, click. I guess he didn't have any ammunition, right? He didn't have any ammunition left to stock it. He says mama, and then he just runs off, and that's the last we see of him. Fucking it's Susie. So I think, and what was it? She calls so the Texan girl calls Susie, right, the ex, and she makes a deal with her about something, and she says, if you go down there and you look for me in this place, I think it was to Curly. If you go down there and look at Curly's place, I forgot why she wants her to do that, but she said, hey, if you go down there and you do this, I'll take the dog back, right? The dog that she didn't want. She said, I'll take the dog back. If you go down there and do this, I'll take the dog back. You don't have to, deal with the dog anymore. And so she agrees, and she actually flies down to Tallahassee just to give the dog. And it's a good thing she does, because she goes to the hotel, the Conquistador, but they're not there. So then we're like, okay, do we leave? Right? They're not at the hotel. She gets told by the concierge guy that they're not there. So then she goes to the dive bar. It's called the She Shed. Yeah, that's what it's called. The lesbian dive bar. And she's like, they run into each other, they bump into each other outside of the place. And she tells her, like, of course I knew you'd be here. But it's like, how many lesbian bars exist in Tallahassee? Like, it just makes sense. Like, it's not a big metropolitan city. It's a smaller city. It's perhaps a maybe more conservative area. Like, how many fucking bars of this nature are really gonna be present in this area? Like, come on, let's be real here. So yeah, and they're talking to each other. She's explaining like the whole situation, I guess. And the senator guy, which is played by Matt Damon, he fucking so he gives him the money. I guess he does do that. They give him the dildos or dicks or whatever that in the head, Pedro Pascal's character's head. They give that to him, and he gives him the money. When they're walking out, I guess he planned to kill them anyhow, right? To have no witnesses to his scheme. And it's a good thing, I guess, that she was there. And she had a gun. The gun was inside the dog's carry-on case. When she was gonna open it, I was thinking maybe the dog's gonna like charge at Matt Damon, and there's gonna be a comedic moment with that, kind of like in Argyle when the cat throws itself. Oh, this was so fucking hilarious. Listening to people talk about this in the film, when they talked about this in the film, like how silly this is. The cat scratching out Brandon, Cranston's eyeballs. Oh, it's just so dumb. I thought, oh, maybe we're gonna get another scene like that, but with the dog this time. The dog's gonna run up to Matt Damon's character and like scare him, or like start barking, biting him, or some stupid shit like that. But no, she has a gun actually in the dog's carry-on case, which I guess is another like hallmark of the times, that she stored a gun in there, and like it wasn't found, nobody checked. So this has to be like maybe in the 90s film, right? The flying was different back then. Like people weren't getting searched like they are now at the airport so thoroughly and stuff. You just got on the plane. It was like going on a bus, was it? It's like I can't imagine, maybe, I've never been on a bus, like a Greyhound type bus, but I can't imagine that you go through like rigorous security. Although you probably do, now that I think about it. And maybe like before you didn't, at the airplanes it was the same way, right? You can go on the plane and you didn't go through this rigorous security, right? And so she had a gun in there and she shoots Matt Damon just one time. And we see like he's still alive, and then we don't get any more sequences or scenes with that. It's just them at I guess maybe the same hotel too. Fuck it, I don't even know. They had some hotel where Aunt Karen comes and we see like when she's on the phone talking to the senator about the plan, like, meet us here, okay, and have that money ready because we're gonna have your stuff. We're just gonna do the trade-off. It's gonna be no biggie, right? And you can see she has some materials, like plaster materials, and I was like, oh cool, maybe she's making copies because in case she like double crosses her, she say like or like maybe to extort more money, like this is the original, but guess what, I gotta make copies of it, so now I want more money. But no, it's actually she makes 2 copies, and it's for her and the friend, right? Or like, well, they're kind of like maybe more than friends now, they're kind of sort of girlfriends now, because like earlier they even have an intimate moment together where she tells her the Texan girl tells the Indian girl, hey, I've been wanting to try to get you laid, but I think instead I'm gonna fuck you, right? I'm gonna do the liberty and I'm gonna have sex with you. And since you said, it has to be authentic and it has to be with someone you care about, well, we've been friends for a long time, and you care about me, I care about you. And I guess we get the hint that maybe she likes her, or she's falling for her in the scene with the sports team where they have to make out and they kiss each other, and then she breaks away and says, if you bring someone home, it's okay, like I'll just read in the lobby, and she walks back. That's a funny thing with the lobby scene is there's an old man there that has an oxygen tank, and he's watching like some like maybe Persian type film, right? It's got the music and camels and the people there that look like they'll be like from Persia or the Middle East, right? And he's kind of like just brain dead watching it. Like there's even like she's talking to him, the Texan girl, is like early before that scene where she's talking to him, and and he's like just not paying attention at all. He's just like, ugh. It's it's now that I think about it, that's probably actually the Utter Motel, not that one. Whatever. What else I was thinking about? Fucking, they leave the dildos behind, or the senator's penis mold thing that she makes. They get left behind. So that was a funny scene when it was the waiter. The waiter told them, "Oh hey, by the way, your guest has arrived or whatever." And so they get ready. This is when they meet Karen, the Indian girl's auntie, right? And how do you call? They leave the bag behind with the dildo things, and the guy says, "Hey, you left your shit behind," and and but it's already too late. They already have driven off. She tells the when they get in the car with the Aunt Karen, right, and she's religious, right, so she's not going to be open to like LGBT type stuff. She introduces her as her friend, not her girlfriend or anything, as her friend. But the Texan girl, I guess, she's got a free spirit, or she doesn't. I'm not gonna restrict myself or like pretend to be who I'm not. Restrict who I am, right? Like, you have to take me as me, and that's it. So she what do you call? Fucking, thinking in my head. Tip of the tongue. She tells the because Aunt Karen, she asked the girl, or I guess she asked just kind of broadly out loud, like, "Hey, how long are you gonna be staying with me?" And she says, "Oh, not long. We're actually gonna be going up to Massachusetts." And she's like, "Oh, really now?" And right, and she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna be going up to Massachusetts." So, but and she says, "How come?" She says, "Oh, well, to get married. Woman, woman can get married up there in that state. It's legal. Woman can get married up in that state." And so my phone's getting hot here, so I may have to end this review soon, or thought session rather. And it's just like, I like the awkward silence that we get established in that one scene where she tells her that about oh, to get married. And it's just awkward silence, like she realized, like her Indian girl's face is like dead, like, holy shit, why would you tell this bitch that? Fuck, man. And the Texan girl, he's like, "Oh shit, like, yeah, I did just say that." I just outed you, me. I just outed both of us. Like, yo, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're going out to Massachusetts. Yeah, overall, I like this film. I really liked it. Found it funny. The Google, like I said, I looked it up in Google, and it mentioned that the film was what do you call? A drama thriller. I think the drama is accurate. Like, it was dramatic, right? It's dramatized. But a thriller, I think, like, drama comedy, like a black comedy. I think that's the perfect, the way it's shot, the scenes that we get, like certain artistic liberties with like the cinematography and the soundtrack. Especially in that opening scene with Pedro Pascal and like the way he dies and shit. Like, it just screams, like, it just hit me in the head. Black comedy. It's like a black comedy film. It's a modern black comedy film. Yeah, so Drive Away Dolls. I give it 5 stars. I really liked it. Found it hilarious. If you bothered to listen to this review, or thoughts, because, well, actually more like thoughts with a little star rating. Thoughts and rating, huh? Thank you.